like white supremacy. It's you know what it is. There's only one group that fits the actual definition. Then they keep going like, they have to show you. Because we're in a free will realm. They couldn't just do it to you without explaining it to you. They tell you over and over and over again, the worst thing in America is white supremacy, where one group of people, based on their genetic code, thinks they can rule over all other nations and treat them as Goyim. Oh, we're not supposed to say that last word. It's too specific. It's totally genius what they're doing right now. It's like almost have that right. It's almost like
he claims that he doesn't watch Ari Shaffir's stand-up comedy, but I'm pretty sure he does. There's been a couple of times where, especially over the last week, where he talks about something and it's specifically from Ari Shaffir's stand-up.
It's almost like a work of art. Don't admire it. See, that's one of my Achilles heels. Sometimes like someone can be doing really high-level magic, and I'm just like, nice. Under a pre-revolutionary legal code before George.
Because that's what he does. It's what he does. And that's why he appreciates it.
Floyd, questions like these were easy to answer. A crime was defined as something that an elected legislature had explicitly banned, usually an act that hurt somebody else. In America, crimes were described precisely. So like the Afghan War, like the fentanyl and opioid crisis, like the Vietnam War, Tucker, when white men all over America, based on their birthday, had to go to a jungle and get dropped Agent Orange on their ass. So those aren't bad things that were happening. He keeps making it seem like this is all so fucking recent. With words in English and then preserved in books, which you can read yourself. By the way, he always talks to you like you're a child. Like he's very condescending. He's like, in books that you can read yourself. Snotty little fuck. If you ever wondered whether you were committing a crime, you could just look it up. You could know for sure whether you were a criminal. Now you can't. And needless to say, that's what he just did there. So the only thing that makes you a criminal is whether or not it's in the law code. Again, another secular satanic view. He'll never say, look in the Bible or look in the Quran or look in the Torah or pray to God or what. No, he's saying, you are a criminal if you look in one of our codes. And now it's like, whatever. Point. The point of the exercise.
He's talking about law. Legal law.
Is to keep you off balance, to keep you afraid. He's admitting what he's doing right now. Think about this whole speech, 10 minutes in. How do you feel? If you weren't spell breaking it right now, what would you feel? Afraid and off balance. He just told you what he's doing. He hasn't given anything that makes you feel peace yet. Nothing. One thing that you do with hypnotism is you keep winding the tension. That's why you'll do like you'll have these like you'll do this, you'll like do a tap or you'll do a sound that, it'll just keep you. One thing you try to do in hypnotism is you fracture the mind. So you can have your subconscious paying attention to like something off. That's why some people talk really weird. Like I think Robert Kennedy Jr. is doing that ridiculous voice as a hypnotic effect. Or like I think that, so you do that, and then so part of your mind is focused on that annoyance. And that lowers the guard for your mind palace. Okay? And so when you're winding up the fear, so what he's told you so far, let's just do a quick recap, is that pedophiles are now normal. The government will not, you guys get it, I don't have to recap it, but he's trying to scare you. And he's giving you no hope whatsoever, no solutions. And he's saying that before, like not that long ago, everything was great. The government never played favorites, and it's only the Democrats, and now we're just plunging into abyss. And people are like, finally, someone's saying it. It's not even true. When no one's willing to define the offense, you can't be sure whether or not you're committing it. You could be accused at any time and everything you have taken from you. That's a threat. He's doing a threat right now. This shit is, if you're remotely dissident, that type of stuff scares people. It doesn't scare the bears because we know better now. We've been through all this stuff. But somebody could be like, I
apologize for how long this video is. I'm just trying to get through this part of it. And I hope that it is not the full 2 hours and 38 minutes. I've already stepped down this road and I have to see it through. But oh my, is this a difficult... it's just... One of the things that's holding me in is watching Owen describe himself while acting like he's describing Tucker.
Anti-moon landing chat room. Or what he's doing is threatening you to stand up against pedophiles. This is the irony about this whole speech, is what he just said. Like, let's say somebody's like, "Yeah, we got to do something. They're normalizing pedophilia. We should really stand up." And then what he just said goes, "Yeah, they're going to arrest us if we do that." You live in fear. Remember this guy?
Emmanuel Cafferty was driving near a Black Lives Matter protest in Poway in his SDG&E truck when he says he noticed somebody following him and trying to get his attention. Later, that person posted a picture of him making what some believed is a white supremacy symbol on Twitter. Cafferty says he had no idea about any white power symbols and was just cracking his knuckles outside his window when the picture was taken of him. Later that day, he says he was notified by SDG&E that he would be suspended pending an investigation, and a few days later, he was fired.
What that meant... Okay, so what they're doing is they're saying they're coming for you. Guys, I don't know a single person that's ever happened to, and I know thousands of people that say and do very, very aggressive things. I don't know a single fucking person.
This dude is a liar, and I have no idea I cannot fathom a logical conclusion to why a motivation besides the obvious of, I'm just going to say whatever I have to say in order to maintain my audience, in order for me to maintain my relevancy. I am literally pardon my French, a whore for money. I stand for nothing as long as the money keeps rolling in, and this seems to be the thing that makes it roll in. Because there's absolutely zero truth to what he just said. It does happen. That makes no sense.
That's ever happened. I don't even think that's real. Like, he never highlights what we're doing. He never highlights anything. He always highlights things that scare people. And then people go, oh, he's telling the truth. He's getting the truth out there. No, he's not. He's pacing it and forwarding this hellish leftist agenda. He's more of a leftist than Anderson Cooper. I'll tell you that.
So let's do a little throwback. Let's go down memory aisle. Just a couple of weeks ago, and it was around the time he had his little meltdown, his Twitter meltdown. I think it was the next day. He had an Instagram live feed from his car, and in the middle of this little live feed, he said that he was, well, the whole live feed was pretty much, he talked to one of his buddies, quote unquote, from Hollywood, quote unquote, and that one of the things directly quoted from Owen in that video is, we feel like there's going to be a mass die-off. Fear-mongering, a man who stands for nothing will fall for everything.
Right now, Donald Trump, total leftist, total one-world globalist, Marxist, demonic fuck. They just keep speaking it in reality. America's fallen. America's never been so broken. They never give you release. It's just despair. It's very Russian. It's very like Khrushchev and Brezhnev, and all these guys used to do this all the time.
It's so offensive, as you just...
If you're a current bear and you've managed to blast this far in this video, stop watching it and go watch Milker Nation. If you are a new current bear, if you do not know the Beartaria scam, go watch Milker Nation's videos on that. And it's no commentary. It is just Owen Benjamin doing this fear-mongering, no release. The only release that you will get is if you send me money, and I'll build this glorious heaven on earth escape, where he literally says, and I quote, if the proverbial it hits the fan and you need to, I'll be able to feed at least 1,000 people. And if you donate and it does hit the fan, you'll have a place to camp.
Saw that local news had to blur the photograph of his hand. He was fired from his job. His life was destroyed for cracking his knuckles. He didn't know cracking his knuckles was racist in his defense, but then nobody did until the day that poor Emmanuel Cafferty was unwise enough to crack them. When a crime...
You guys all see it, right? Is there anybody in the chat that is not seeing what he's doing this whole time? And the fact that quote-unquote right-wingers trust him is crazy.
See, and he just asked the chat, is there anybody that doesn't see? He's conditioning his chat because he has already expelled one person that didn't see. And he clearly said, you just don't see it. You're going to be expelled if you don't fall in line. I don't care if you don't believe, just shut your mouth. That one bear, current bear that was on Jim Bob's show. And he said, they asked him, Andrew asked him, has there ever been a time where you did speak up? The way you're speaking up to me and Jim Bob right now, have you ever spoke up against Owen? And he said, yeah, whenever I first got in there, until I was put in my place. I don't know if that's exactly what he said, but it was pretty much like that. It was like until I had to learn my lesson. So he got put in a 5-minute timeout. It almost broke my heart a little bit. As a grown man.
All he's done is deliver a false reality of accepted deviance that doesn't exist, and tons of fear, tons, with no solution.
No definition, anyone can be guilty of it. It's hard to relax in a country like that.
I'm relaxed as fuck right now. I'm Sherlock Holmes, puffing on my pipe. Hang on a second. Tucker Carlson.
The old system was better. Government operated on the basis of laws, not amorphous moral terror. Politicians couldn't accuse you of something they couldn't define. The legal code was straightforward.
It's again reminiscent. So this causes depression and suicide. You know our suicide numbers are like off the chart right now? I just did it. This motherfucker. A lot of people in America right now are killing themselves. And it's because of this shit.
Okay, see. One of the reasons why Tucker would say "our" is because he is a United States citizen, and so he is including all of us in this. just, I know that words matter, but
it's like we had something and we lost it. We had something. It used to be so good. No, it did not. It did not, dude. It was not what people claim. Like, look at, okay, there was always this, like, trans thing. Look at 80s rock stars. They were all dudes, like, naked guys with, like, lipstick and eyeliner and giant wigs. They're just pretending, dude. They're playing make-believe.
Molestation was a crime.
It still is.
Fashionable opinions was...
No, child molestation still is a crime. It still is a crime, Tucker. And if it wasn't for, I think he's twisted my own worldview. Just like the shit he puts out there, he started being like, oh yeah, child molesters don't even go to jail anymore. They fucking absolutely do. And so he's trying to normalize this idea that child molesters don't go to jail. They do go to jail.
Outside of the public sphere, the population mostly governed itself, as it does in every society, and used...
All right, I am going to bring this video to a well, let's
taboos to do it.
make it
No, there's morality to do
close to
it,
an hour.
not taboos. You're doing the inversion again, Tucker.
You knew what was allowed and what wasn't because the rules didn't change very often. The taboos were organic. They derived from collective experience and instinct, the two most reliable guides to life. They evolved for a reason.
I'll give him that. That's true.
They'll do. Our job at this point is to protect them, despite the hectoring, the nonstop hectoring from the people in charge. You know the outlines of...
I did want to say about what he was just talking about, how the CP people don't go to jail. They do go to jail, but they are clearly in somewhat of a protected class. The Maxwell case, clear point. All of those people that were clearly guilty, we don't know any of their names for a reason.
Right and wrong. You were born knowing them.
Okay, so why are you currently on a platform that's promoting porn when you just went against Instagram? How come you never talked?
Says the dude that is, he is currently, as he's live streaming, he is on Twitter.
About who the white supremacists are, or how bad sodomy is, or why we have to be a nation that keeps importing people, or why, the Nazis were so bad and FDR was so good. It's just all horseshit, man.
So don't let them talk you out of what you can smell. Don't let them rationalize away your intuitive moral sense.
I like that. That's a good statement.
Cling to your taboos like your life depends on...
That's inversion. Cling to your taboos. Notice this is very, very high-level stuff, man. Don't admire it. He said cling to your taboos. Think about what that actually means. Hold on to what you do that's taboo.
There's a couple of things that I want to address right now. One, him saying don't admire it. There's times whenever I try to give Owen props for being somewhat genuine or saying something that is humble or something like that. I'm not admiring the things that Owen is doing. I want to make that clear. I am fascinated by it, yes. It's very interesting because it's bizarre behavior. But as far as admiring it, the way he's admiring what he thinks is going on with it.
That's really what he's doing there. It's fascinating. Think about what that sentence actually means. Your subconscious knows what words mean. Cling to your taboos. Not cling to what's right. Cling to your taboos.
Because it does. Cherish and protect them like family heirlooms.
Cherish and protect your taboos. Like toddler incest porn that he brought up earlier. Yeah, it's cling to your principles, cling to your morality, cling to your...
According to my count, that's 5 for Owen and 2 for Tucker, as far as saying those 2 words that he admonished Tucker for just saying twice.
Unity, cling to God. He says cling to your taboos. That's unbelievably high level.
That's exactly what they are.
And of course, there's Tucker, fishing alone for some dick.
He just couldn't make it, could he?
He is the news. He's telling you, dude, this guy's kind of a fucking dark genius, man. He's the #1 newscaster in the country, and he keeps telling you the news is filled with lies. Okay, so that was what I had to say about that. I hope that was a good lesson in hypnotism. Because the way he's pacing his voice, authoritative speaking, is when you assume, what Barack Obama used to do authoritative speaking a lot, when you go, how hard is it to not be a Nazi? You understand? It's assuming, that's called a rhetorical question. It's a question, my dad taught me about this when I was a kid. It's a question that isn't intended to be answered. It's intended to persuade. There's a whole art form in this, and I know all about it. My dad used to teach me this shit all the time when I was a kid. He has his PhD in Upton Sinclair in the muckraking movement and all that. And he used to teach persuasion. My dad got a full ride to Northwestern, Oxford. Totally, there's an art to this. A rhetorical question is like, why do you got to be such a fucking idiot? That isn't intended to be answered. Like, what direction is the Olympic Stadium? Où est le stade olympique? That's a question.
All right, I'm going to end this video right now. Go check out, if you're still watching, go check out Milker Nation if you haven't. Go see Owen's videos on how he has talked to his people in the past, his ex-cult members. the ones that upset him, and just how he talked in the past about his repetition. And I've got a video that I put together. It's got clips from a documentary that he did himself, and that's worth checking out. I can't remember. It was something about the wizardry of Owen Benjamin, but I appreciate it. This is the Texas Go Radio Show. As always, till next time.